Ребят, всем привет!
Hello, everybody. Do you hear me well? Okay, fantastic. So let's begin our presentation. My name is Zhenya, and I'm the founder of the company Test IT, and we'll speak about Test IT and keep calm. So, how we can solve our test management problems and our main tasks so that everybody can get maximum, can enjoy their work to maximum scale. So first of all, I'll tell you what we're going to talk about it. We'll have about 40 minutes. I'll speak for 30 of them and 10 minutes for Q&A. But if you don't manage to ask your question, I'll be happy to answer it in person. We have some stands outside, so you can have some gifts there and ask your questions. I'll be there waiting for you. So let's speak about tasks and solutions when we're choosing the instruments and tools. We will see at use case how to choose them, and I'll answer all your questions. I'll tell a couple of words about myself. My name is Evgeniy Khafizov. I'm from Test IT team. I have been in QA for more than 10 years, and I started working as a developer and then went to the testing automation and then to management. I work in several major companies, and in each company where I was a test manager, I faced the issue of bicycle development, so to say, or in other words, needed to find a new tool for my team to create this testing strategy, so to say. So there are really many instruments right now. It's not even 1/4 of the instruments stated here in this slide. There are many more of them, and they are very similar, all of them. So some of them are trying to deal mostly with automation, some of them with manual testing, but still they are functioning on one and the same basis. And what we have to pay attention at first of all when we're choosing our tool is, of course, that it has to be quite easy to use the instrument, easy and enjoyable, so to say. So we have to choose the tool from the UX point of view first of all. When I was working in different companies, I had to cooperate with testing engineers, and I asked them to support test documentation, and I found out that they were not comfortable with using this instrument because they thought that it was just senseless because it is easier to test, to make checklists and so on. Yet when I tried to find it out, they just were lacking something and it was not comfortable for them. Next, big amount of data. Right now, test automation is in trend, and there are several types of it. There are performance, stress testing, and so on. It can all be connected to automation, test automation, and many of them are actually about native integration with automation, test automation. So what can we do? We need to clean the data so that the system is able to work with data. And right now there is a problem that in several teams, in one test plan, there can be about 10, 20, and even 30,000 automatic tests, and each automatic test has some attaches, screenshots, blog, and so on. It is all stored in your database, and quite often it happens so that the hard drive has to be extended all the time. You need some additional budget and finance for that because it's just impossible to use this data just using the native data. So if you are using your tools, you're choosing your tools, please pay attention to this issue. Secondly, when do we write this automatic test if we have a release tomorrow, if everything is on fire around it and we have to extinguish it? So it is also within the UX formula. You have to choose the solution that will provide six good instruments for test data actualization. So for example, somebody uses test cases and adds screenshots to those test cases. I don't think that is a good strategy, and according to test design rules, It is not very good either, but sometimes it's quite comfortable for people to add screenshots. And sometimes redesign happens, and to actualize those tests, people have to go to each test to find those screenshots and so on, or maybe find not topical, not actual tests. It is really bad to spend QA engineers' time for that type of work. So in any instrument that you're using, they have to be made for the integration with automatic tests. Next, right now, I think that those instruments, those tools and software that has been developed by the companies in which you're working, most probably they are not. The software is not unique. So, for example, let's look at software that existed 5, 6 years ago. There was a lot of unique software, and clients did not have a choice. So if they had to solve some task, they had one or two competitors. They had to choose from them for some reasons and to buy that software. Right now, the market is overloaded. There are so many IT companies, so many specialists that work on the quality of this software. And what is good, actually, what is good news for us is that right now the quality for our clients should be at the first place, and everything, and there is a lot of attention paid to the budgets, to development of test instruments, and so on. Soft, there is very few unique software. There is very little unique software, and many clients look at the quality of the product first of all. And of course, so one of these aspects that you have to take into consideration if you don't have test automation. Still, we think that we need to combine automatic testing and manual testing. The software has to be natively integrated. There should be some integration frameworks with automatic tests so that there can be used from one test plan, both of them, manual and automatic ones. Right now we have to discuss how we should make our choice. If your automatic system of testing is not, if you're not satisfied with it, or if we're trying to choose what you're going to use in your future, we'll try to dwell on that right now. So first of all, the main trend is that the system has to have a very well thought through UX. There are many TMS in the market, and so it means that the TMS has to be quite easy for use and efficient for use. So, for example, this is our test IT system, and I'll try to tell you how we implemented it. So, if you choose any other instruments, you'll be able to compare it with our system. Here we are in the project tab. So you have the functional fields here and all the tests that are within those functional fields. And the navigation when we're looking for the data and when we are switching to the history of tests and so on, each person has, each tester, it should take them only 1-2 clicks to go to those tabs. And we have to think about it because it is quite efficient for good work. So if you need to make several clicks, 5, 6, or whatever else, or any other actions to go to another tab, it is not very good because this instrument, you will be working with this instrument all the time, and it will just consume your time. As I have already mentioned, when working in an agile team, quite often it happens that we use some continuous delivery approaches. At least everybody wants to use those approaches. And if you are using Scrum in your work and you have iterations, then quite often in the end of the sprint, you understand that you need to extinguish the fire because the demo comes soon, the demo sprint comes soon, and you have to test it as soon as possible. And there is no, we don't even speak about test actualization. We have to go with the project to the release and then just to come back and to remember what happened before. So basically, you need to find and to choose the tool that will have features that will allow you to actualize the information quite quickly. The most popular method is the refactoring method. Basically, we all know about it. If there is some repeatedness in codes, a good programmer will identify it as a code with a bad code, and so basically there it will be in a separate method. The same in tests. If you develop a test that you can see that those steps will be used quite often in other tests, then the system has to have a possibility to make a separate group of those tests so that when they are edited, they will be changed in all interconnected test cases. So you don't have to go to this history test to some logs, and you will have just all this history in one place, and you will be able to change anything in one place. So I'll show you our project. Now we're filtering it according to the functionality field. We're opening the test scenario, and we can see several steps that can be combined into one step. We're creating it, and then we can see that there is a share step. You can open it and put it wherever it is more comfortable for you on the list for testing. After that, the functionality has been changed. We want to update general steps, and those steps can be edited in one place as well. The same in precondition, we can choose any sharing steps and to transfer them to preconditions, for example, to prepare test data. After that, we go to authorization, make a screenshot, we update the general step. After we have saved it in all the connected scenarios and cases, it will be changed as well. So we have added this screen, and it is on all the interconnected tests. Testing automation. So everybody says that we need to turn around the testing pyramid. I understand that it is a good idea, but it does not work for all the projects. For example, if you have a cloud application, you have to make a release each second or third day, and then you have to ask the developers and to keep the test documentation by yourself. But unfortunately, it is an ideal situation, but in real life it does not work this way. So we have to combine automated tests and manual tests. So when we're choosing your tool, you have to pay attention at what you choose, so that you can also use your auto test, not depending on the programming language that they are using.
So our solution can be integrated into any programming language, any system using technology of iHooks. We can set the parameters, the type of query, and also we can integrate it in any messenger. Now we are developing a testing plan. For example, we add test scenarios from some functional area. After we have added it, we add the configuration for the test run in manual and automatic mode, and assign testers like Oleg, Igor, and Mikhail will make a test run. After that, we have a task, and from the test plan, we can choose one or several automatic tests and run them. So we get a test plan where we can visually identify which tests are manual, which are automatic, and which of the automatic tests are being fulfilled at the moment. And we don't need manual testing anymore. So, and the frameworks which we deliver allow to synchronize the results of the automatic tests not at the end of the test run, but in the process of testing. Each test, after it is finished, it will send its status to our system. How much time was needed, at which step it failed, which stack trace we got, so it will be dynamically displayed. And here we see that we open test run, which we have for automatic tests. We have four automatic tests successful, and the test of section with the tabs, it failed. So here we can look at the test, see the original source code, and see all the results that is to be delivered. So, and within this common test plan, we can manage both automatic and manual tests, analyze the results of automatic tests, send the automatic tests for improvement or edit them. And the main task here is to join manual and automatic testers in one system, within one system, so that they communicate with each other and become quite ingenious. So the next thing is resilience. I faced problem with some test management system. When there is a lot of test data, they start to get stuck, and we were very irritated, and I, with my colleagues, even switched to another test management system once because of that. So we need to test the load, at least to upload to the test run library several thousand test cases just to see how the system behaves. And so in each sprint we make load testing, we add many testing scenarios, and we see that even we observe that even with weak test configuration, the user still is comfortable with our system. So here we add for each test a specific testing engineer. We assign him, and for other tests, it doesn't matter for us who tests it, and we just press the magic button and add the functionality on the load testing. So we have to distribute the tests in terms of time or other parameters between 3 or 4 developers. So, and you see that the load is distributed evenly on the time frame, and we see here not only the forecast test time, but the system also assigns itself same amount of tests to each tester with the same parameters, with the same priority status, etc. So teamwork. Currently, we have a lot of new IT solutions in the market. New IT companies are set up. Banks are competing with each other, and we get less and less available IT specialists in the labor market. Our office is in Moscow, and when I make an interview with a good candidate, I feel like he's interviewing me because he has 10 offers and he just chooses between these offers looking for the best one. So that's why companies now are setting up branches in small cities with a population more than 1 million, where they have universities which train IT specialists, or they are looking for freelancers and outsource these services. So we have to provide for communication within this tool. So everything should be based on versions. There should be clean history, and we have to provide for convenient information exchange between several teammates who are located in different cities, in different countries maybe. So how do we do that? Let's open a test scenario. Within this test scenario, we can format a text. Let's imagine that this is text case review, or for example, we see that the test has to be corrected. Then we highlight this one, and within every test scenario checklist, there is a chart, and we can send a message to any teammate. After the message is sent, we can put a webhook on this event. It can be duplicated in the messengers, Telegram, WhatsApp, Slack, any other one, and also inside the, our system, a message on that will be generated. So our specialist will see the ring bell, and he will see what been changed, what he has to do, what he has to correct. Well, here he has created a general step. He's just replacing some step for a general step, not to duplicate code, not to duplicate steps. The next one is analytics. Talking about the testing tools, we often face a problem that in many tools there is no time schedules. So you can build up any schedules which will reflect the current situation. But if we look at the trends of testing automation, the health diagram of automatic tests, or a diagram which would demonstrate for the last several releases how much the number of tests which passed or not passed the review has changed. So this tool we don't have. So if you choose this tool for your use, so please take it and take count. Also, in our application under the hood we have the FluxDB, and we can integrate into it with Kaban, and we store all the statistics on all test runs, on all results, on all user actions, and we can even build boards in order to analyze what's going on, how the quality is changed with each release. For example, we have a trend on automation of testing. So we built a priority trend. We can build a graph for each particular project, or for several projects at once, or for all projects which are there in the system. So that's all quite fast. Also, we can look at standard radar diagrams, but nobody is surprised with this stuff. So everybody uses it. We also make it, but I'm not sure that they are useful. But at least this is a common component which is used in all cases. And also, we can check the results distribution graph. Each test plan can have tags like acceptance, BVD testing, regression testing, and in one graph for some particular project we can check how long test plan lasts, how long it lasted, how many bugs were identified, what were the results of this test. So in this way we can check several releases, how long regression testing takes, and how the product behaves. So how many failed tests we have, less or more. And also here we can check the team statistics. These are like gamification components, how many bugs were identified, how many tests were created, what is the GIF or avatar, so that we feel the team spirit, to feel that we are not alone, especially if members of the team are remoted from each other. So, and this is an additional feature. Well, I don't think this is must-have, and that we have to take it into account, really consider it. But well, everybody wants to work in the company of his dream. Everybody wants to come to work and get some aesthetic pleasure. And that's why we decided to add gamification feature. So during testing, each tester gets points. When a person identifies defects, person gets points, achieves, and for some number of these achieves, we can open some private topics, we can like each other, see what is the maximum number of points or achieves that he has or she has. And let's create several tests. So let's specify the name, steps, expected results, add shared steps which we need not to waste time to write the steps that's been already written in some other component, not to duplicate the steps. Okay, now we enter the test plan. Let's see which tests are assigned to us and mark the results for the tests. Okay, let's see which tests I was assigned. Some tests been already passed. We can put the results for each step, for the whole, for the test as a whole, and also here we can make a comment, add links, create bug, depending on which bug tracker you have integrated in. And now we are testing. So one test left. So we are at the third test from 4 total. So the test has been blocked. There is a hint. So we comment, add a comment. It's a perfect comment, informative. I can check. So after we finish the test plan, the system congratulates us, stating that it was a great job. And also, if you get correspondingly some level up, so you also see it, and the private topics open to you. Correspondingly, so what is Test IT? Test IT has been developed for more than 2 years. In May, we had the first release. Now it's fifth release. More than a dozen companies use our solution. They trust us, and we are very much inspired by what's happening because many companies give a very positive feedback on our work. The main thing that we do, we are actively listening to our audience. If somebody has an interesting case, we advise them and communicate with the customers and that to the backlog. It's a convenient interface, it's quick work with a lot of data, testing metrics on time series, integration of CTI/CD system. Integration is now so with Jira, Track and Redmine are coming. We have open Swagger, which you can test and automatize it by creating testing scenarios and combination of manual and automatic tests. That's our motto. You shouldn't think about the selection of test instruments. Think about convenience of the customers and the efficiency of your testing procedures. Trust us and delegate this to us. And join our community. We are going to make native libraries to integrate with many programming languages. For example, currently we are developing this for the Java in framework, and in general, if you are interested in development of our solution further, if you want to make the world of testing more intensive, more convenient, so then join us, write to us, we'll talk to you, we'll make a demonstration, especially if you have interesting cases, we'll give you some advice. But that is basically it. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you for your presentation. You said that automatic tests are together with the manual ones in the system, and you can track the progress and pass or fail. So how does it happen between the code and the text test in the system? We have a guideline. If you can just install our package, if you have C#, Python, or other things. Also, if you have another program, we can try help you develop it for you. So we basically make some marks in the test, and after with the help of public API, we can synchronize the results. For example, you launch an automatic test, and it appears in our test IT system. If you want to manually connect some automatic tests, then you can use identifier of autotest and do it. Also, if you want to update the content of automatic test, the steps are also of this automatic test are also updated. So basically API, IP, and wrapper that we develop ourselves and together with you. Hello, thank you for your presentation. I wanted to ask you if there is any way to import the existing cases, steps, and so on. Yes, there is one right now. We have made a native importer from TestTrevor, and we can upload any XMLs, and they will be deparceled in 1 minute, and you'll have all the artifacts for testing that you have. If it's not a Strevel but some other system, then we can just develop a parser for you that will take data from you and with the help of a public API create and testing artifacts in our project. Any other questions? Thank you for your presentation. We discussed yesterday the system of test management, and you showed the distribution algorithm for tests and testers. So, and what about the competence of the testers? And not all the employees can be working with it 100%. Yes, I understand your question. Quite often this question asked, but unfortunately at the moment this algorithm is closed. But in the future we have a task in backlog that will allow to have a look at those tests and test plans that have some testers appointed for each day. But when I don't know when we're going to implement it because we have many ambitious plans that are a bit higher in their priority. Thank you. Hello, Evgeny. Thank you for your presentation and for quite interesting and pretty system compared to TestRail. So, can we group tests in the same way and to make preconditions for all of them together? So basically you create a general testing block and it will have all the similar conditions, preconditions. So that's the first question. And secondly, are you planning to make automation for each step for test cases so that there is a possibility to have a test repository and each step is automated basically, and you have some methods and you can just create an automatic class that will be quite easy to use. Okay, I understand your questions. So the answer to your first question is that we have a possibility to group all the tests in their sections and functional fields. And in each section we can make a section precondition. So we can add this precondition and we can also sharing steps. So, and after we add it to all test cases and checklists in this section, it will appear. And the second question? Unfortunately, the user is not using the microphone. Okay, we can. I don't understand your second question quite well. We can continue our discussion after the presentation personally. And coming back to your second question, we will automate not the test case steps, but checklists.
Этих чек-листов мы добавляем просто.
So we'll basically add some things that we have to check, and then we will add automatic tests to the steps in checklist. Evgeny, thank you for your presentation. The question is the following. Right now we are using TestRail, and in TestRail there are so many fields and margins, modules, and so on. So I mean custom fields. So how are they going to be imported if we transfer to your system? Will they be fully implemented, imported, or you will have to add something or develop something? Well, not us who will develop it, but if you have some custom fields in TestRail and you want all the testing artifacts to transfer to our project, you just need to make the same custom fields in our projects and they will work together. And speaking about custom fields, we have a possibility to add a teammate to them. So for example, we can appoint a developer or an auto tester or whatever else. So we add a custom attribute, then its type, a person, for example, and we can appoint a test. Do they have it in TestRail, like a feature like that? No. Okay. Thank you very much for your product. And the question is the following. As far as I understand, you have a balance between testers. So it means that all auto tests are made on one host, and there is no incorporated mechanism that will balance the load on the machines of testers. For example, I have auto test for 10 hours, and I want to make it in 15 minutes. So you mean if we can balance automatic tests and that they are launched on different laptops? Yes, that's what I mean. Well, okay. So how does it work today? Right now, for each test plan, we can make our own webhook, and if we launch an automatic test, we can connect it to Jenkins or TMC or whatever else. And according to our methodology, the CI system of this conveyor set will be solved. So what our solution provides you with, it makes the task to launch automatic tests in the necessary format, and what to do with this task afterwards, so that DevOps have to deal with it. And second question, integrating with external backtracker. So to which level is it used? So we have had some auto tests, and there are some known users where with bugs. And so does it go into your internal report, or if there is any connection, so that people don't make additional work, don't do additional work? Well, next year we are planning to implement the defect solution, and we will have some defects according to the output. We will check them, and right now the integration happens this way. So after we have dealt with a Jira plugin, then we'll have open the system, auto test, and then the connection will happen. Also, when the testing plan is made, we want to create a bug, and we'll just create defect, and we'll open Jira and we'll have the test. But speaking with the storage of the defects from the backtracker, we have not implemented it yet, but we are planning. Yes, we are planning to. We're not spending our time on it right now because we have a plan for January and February. It will start in a couple of months, and we'll basically have our own defect management, because we think that to build good metrics, test metrics, is not real only on the results of tests. We need to know everything about the bugs, the defects, and the functionality fields that they are connected to. We're planning to make one good feature. We are going to see what functional field will have most bugs in what period of times, and we'll go to the product manager and see that we'll be able to make refactoring and whatever else, because we have found bugs here in most often, so the system will help with that. Thank you. Evgeniy, thank you for your presentation. A really cool thing that you have shown to us. So the question is rather banal. So what is the license for it, and how much does it cost? So how can we try this thing out? Okay. On our website, you can download a trial version for free. You can use it for 1 month, and you can also make the demonstration of the system. And if you have any questions, then we can connect on VKS. Also, we have a demo, and according to the policy, pricing policy, we have a standard progressive scale. But as we're those guys who are quite new, the license costs about two times cheaper than TestRail, for example. One license per year will cost about 4,000 rubles per one user if there is a subscription for 150 people. So you can find all this information on our website. You can try it out and to ask any questions. We will be happy to answer them. Okay, so the system has been developed since 2016. The first release was in May. One release cycle is 1 month, so that we have accomplished 5 releases already. And we provide new functionality, new features each time. Right now we have big clients like Deutsche Bank or Elma. They have more than 200 licenses, and this we don't have any critical defects, and everything is being tested quite well as performance. We are actually focusing on this performance thing. And there is such a thing as the report portal, and I have seen that some features have been taken from there. Yes, that's true. So it is some kind of a general solution for everything. Well, it is best practices as far as we think, and according to our new features will be released in a week, and we'll have a separate tab with auto tests there, so that all the automatic tests can be created automatically. We'll have the steps of auto test in history in our tab, and in the December release we will also have a special focus on dashboards and reports, and we'll have several types of reports and the possibility to create public private boards, and we will basically take a look at the report portal. So the interface was taken from Jira because it's quite similar to it. Well, we have tried to find the interface for quite a long time. It's the third option already, and we wanted to use material in the beginning, but we decided to afterwards to do it on clarity, but we didn't like either of them, and now we have hired several designers, and they are developing our own UI kit, and we are trying to make something of our own, but at least we hope so. But you are using cool solutions. Thanks. Thank you very much, and we will give